Oh, so you have an exciting video game for me? Oh, yes sir, I do. The title of the game is going to be called Manhunt. I'm going to need you to explain that name. Well, the premise of the game is everyone's out to get you. I'm going to need a lot more context in order for anything you just said to make any amount of sense. Alright, try some more precise. The game is going to take place in Carcer City, and it's going to be set in 2003. Hey, isn't that the city from GTA 3? The very same. We're going to make it a real city this time, and put it into all the rumors from GTA 3. Alrighty then, go on. And the story starts out with a journalist giving a report on the execution of James Cash. Oh, who's James Cash? He's an inmate on death row, and he starts out getting executed by lethal injection. Oh, and also he's the main character of the game. Oh, and how did he end up on death row? Backstories are never important, so don't worry about it. Alrighty then, but question for you. How exactly can he be the main character if he starts out getting executed? Oh, as it turns out, that lethal injection in the beginning, it was just a sedative. So at this point, James then wakes up and the game begins. Wait, they didn't bother to check his vital signs or try moving the body after the execution? Oh, we're just going to go with it. So after James wakes up, he then starts hearing a voice in the room with him. So it's going to be a psychological thriller? Oh, not this one. It turns out there's an earpiece in the room with them, and that's how the voice is coming from. So James eventually puts in the earpiece, and then we meet a character who calls himself the Director. And the Director? Oh, exactly right. The Director then tells Cash that if he wants to get his freedom back, he's going to have to kill a group of people known as Hunters, and he has to get on camera for them too. And he's not the least bit suspicious about this mysterious voice he hears, or the opera it makes. Not at least. The first group of Hunters he encounters are known as the Hoods. Are they a gang of hoodlums? Oh, far from it. They're a group of corrupt cops who are retired. They patrol the streets of the abandoned part of town in the rundown section of the city. So if this mysterious director is having James kill all these people, then how can he verify that he even did it? But there are CCTV cameras everywhere, like so many that makes you wonder how there could be any crime at all in this town. And so after he neutralizes all the Hoods, does he finally get his freedom? Nope, he gets abducted by the director's private security force known as Kerberos. Kerberos. So going with the theme of Greek mythology, there's only 3 of them in that private security force. Nope, it's just a cool name for a private security force. After Cash gets kidnapped, he's then sent to the junkyard to deal with another group of gang members, but I thought he already executed gang members earlier. Did he not? Oh, he's not done yet. The director wants him to execute another group of Hunters known as the Skins. Oh boy, do I even want to know where this is going? Well, the gang is made up entirely of white supremacists, and he has to execute his way through the junkyard in order to escape the place. And I hesitate to ask this, but then what happens? At this point, the game will go on to the next section where he encounters the War Dogs, a group of sadistic paramilitary-ass group of hunters, and he then has to either sneak or murder their way through in order to make it out alive. This guy's on a damn killing spree. Are there any other objectives in this game? To be fair, this guy's only killed people we would rather see dead anyway, such as racists, sadists, and murderers. It almost makes him root for Insano. So at this point in the game, we have him in the zoo, where he's supposed to rescue his family. Is he able to save them? Yes and no. So after that zoo scenario, James is then taken to a mall where he encounters a new group of hunters known as the Innocents. Oh, and who are they? But they are a gang of devil worshippers and perverts. See my previous point earlier about all the people he's killed. So anyways, while in the mall, James finds out what happened to his family. Do I even want to know at this point? Well, James then finds a tape and a TV in the mall that shows his family getting killed off one by one shortly after that zoo scene from earlier. Why did you write this game? Because I have to get paid. Again, I hesitate to say this, but continue on. And so after the mall scene, the player is then forced to escort a tramp. Why? What's the point of this escort mission? To make your mission more annoying. It's way too late for that. That's good, except not at all. So after the player escorts his tramp to the end of the level, you're going to have a character named Tramp in your video game? Why is the character named Tramp? Because why not? Alrighty then, so what happens to the player and the tramp? The tramp is never seen again. So at this point, the player is then transported to an insane asylum, where he then has to execute a group of hunters known as the Smileys. And who are they? They're a group of violent, mentally ill inmates who have taken over their own asylum. Isn't that depiction of the mentally ill incredibly insensitive? You're insensitive. I have a video game to make here. Does this game ever come to an end? Don't worry, we're getting there. So Cash makes his way to the end of the asylum scene, we find out that this whole thing was just a setup from the director in order to kill Cash. Oh, is this the end of the game? Please tell me this is the end of the game. Oh, nope. James Cash survives, only to be captured by Ramirez at the end, who is acting as the director's right-hand man. But if their intent is to kill him, why bother capturing him at all? That's because we need a video game to happen. But really? Do we really need this game to happen? Yes sir we do, we gotta get paid. So after Cash kills Ramirez and the rest of the war dogs, he then meets the journalist from the beginning of the game, the only other non-horrible character in the game. Oh, does she get captured and needs to be rescued? Oh, way worse. For the player at least. It's another escort mission. And at this point, he has to sneak her past the corrupt police force. The entire force is corrupted? Yes, everyone in the game except for Cash and that journalist I forgot to name. So after they sneak/execute their way past the corrupt police force, they end up at the journalist's apartment. Oh, why is that important? Well, because she has hard evidence that proves everything the director is doing in this whole game. And when she gets all that evidence, they both then part ways. And then the game goes on. Okay, so there is some justice in this game. Oh, just wait until the end. Cash then implausibly takes on an entire SWAT team armed with machine guns. Because they're also on the director's side because corruption. And none of this sounds ridiculous to you at all. Like, not one single sentence. In order to not make this too ridiculous, he is eventually captured by the SWAT team. And then they get surrounded by Kerberos, and then they capture Cash again. Except this time they bring him to the director's mansion, where he will then be executed. Don't tell me. Lightning strikes and knocks out the power. You're way off. So Pigsy, a chainsaw-wielding maniac who wears a pig's head for a mask, he then breaks free from his restraints in the director's attic, and he starts to Texas Chainsaw Massacre his way through all the Kerberos, which gives Cash the chance he needs to escape. Did you just say pig's mask or pig's head? Exactly. The player eventually defeats Pigsy by luring him over a trapdoor and knocking him down to his death, leaving only his hands behind from when Pigsy was hanging on for dear life, right before Cash cut them off. Oh, is Pigsy the boss of the game? Nope, it's gonna be the director. And if the director has cameras everywhere, somehow, then wouldn't he be able to see Cash coming for him and be able to get out of Dodge way before he gets there? Notice that he's not smart. He stays behind, takes on Cash with a handgun, and the Cash then defeats him, cuts open his stomach, shoves a chainsaw through his face, causing his head to explode, and then he literally backstabs the director. Because, forget subtlety. This game sounds like it's going to have a dark and excessively violent nature to it, but a technical aptitude. I wonder if the critics will single this out. Oh, I doubt that. Like it or not, this game is going to push the envelope of video game violence.